Hello and welcome to Overanalyze. My name is Levi and today I'll be covering District 2 5A. Teams in this district, we have Clint Horizon, El Paso Bel Air, Paso Del Val, Hanks, Parkland, and Sleta. Movement in this district, El Dorado goes to District 1 6A, and Canutillo goes to District 1 5A. Location of this district, we are kind of in El Paso still. Obviously, a lot of these are El Paso schools. We are kind of southeast. Obviously, Horizon is closer to Clint. And I think all of these schools are in Isleta ISD, whereas District 1 was all El Paso ISD, I believe. It's either most or all are in following that camp, but it's something like that. Let's see, getting into it, we have Hanks got first. Well, sorry, they got second. El Dorado got first. Hanks, they got second, lost in by district to Andrus by 8. They went 10-2 in district. They went 12-2 in district. They split El Dorado and Bel Air. Right? They had 8. Yeah. They went 12-2 in district. They split El Dorado and Bel Air. They lost to Bel Air the first district game of the season all the way back in early December 10th, I think. They lost in overtime by 4, it says. They beat them by 21, though, next time they played them, kind of middle of district season. It was almost the opposite for El Dorado. They lost by 15 in the first game against them, and then they won in overtime by 3 next time. Sorry, my voice is like really gone. I was screaming a lot at the football game last night, but Hanks, they're running a 9-game winning streak going into the playoffs. They picked up some good wins. They had a couple of close calls, but they did pick up some good wins, including that El Dorado game and the Bel Air blowout. They have 11 players uploaded to the roster and 4 seniors. So we have Bel Air got third, lost in by district to Burgess. Honestly, not a bad loss. Obviously, Burgess is very good, but Bel Air only lost by 9, so it's a pretty good game for them, I would say. They went 9-5 in district, splitting with Hanks in the series that I already detailed, and Parkland and Canutillo. They lost by 3 and 6, respectively. They won by 18 and 6, respectively. So, what a turnaround. They lose to Parkland by 3 and win by 18. Canutillo was more even, and that's just, again, more on the weirdness of Canutillo's schedule. And whenever we get to Del Val, we'll talk about that as well. Just kind of really weird that they only went 5-9. But anyways, Bel Air, they have 12 players uploaded to roster and 6 seniors. Next we have Isleta, got 4th, lost in by district to Chapin. It was expected. They went 6-8 in district. So their district journey was kind of not the way that not exactly the smoothest. They started 0-3. They lost to Parkland, Hanks, and Bel Air. 2 of them by 12. So it's like the other one by 15, I think. They lost so that was all before the break, all before winter break. And then they lost the first game after the break to Del Val by 3. So now they're 0-4 and they're in a tough spot. They beat Horizon, but only by 5, which is kind of low for this season by most teams' totals, and also even by Isleta's other game against Horizon. Then they lose to El Dorado, so now they're 1-5. Couple games here and there, and they end up at, and then they're 3-7 with 4 games remaining. They would end up tying with Parkland, who, we'll get to them in a second, but they'll end up 6-8. Right off close wins against Canutillo and Parkland, winning by 4 and 3, so really good there. This is after they're 1-5. Then again, close wins against Canutillo and Parkland, and then they lose to Hanks and Bel Air, I believe. Then they beat Del Val by 1. It says in double overtime. I don't know. They cruise past Horizon, lose to El Dorado, so now they are 5-8 with 1 more game against Canutillo to have a chance at maybe at clinching this, to have a chance at maybe clinching the spot in the play-in game. And they won. They won by 3. I think 44-41. So really close there. Fortunately, Parkland lost their last game, so play-in game was arranged. Just less than 1 by 2, so super close. I think I was following along a little bit. I think I was watching basketball game here, like live. But I think I checked it a couple times, and obviously if you only win by 2, it had to have been at least a close game for a lot of it, or especially down to the wire. They have 13 players up over the roster and 7 seniors. Next we have Parkland. Parkland just barely missed the playoffs. They went 6-8 in district. Their story is slightly different than Isleta, who started off 1-5 and then 3-7, and then finished up on a great run. Parkland was a little bit different. The first 3 games in December, they go 2-1. Granted, one was against Horizon, the other one against Isleta, and then they lost to. Who did they lose to? It could have been El Dorado, maybe Bel Air though. Oh, Del Valle. Okay, they lost to Del Valle. So they followed that up with going 2-1 in the first 3 games after the break, including beating Bel Air. So now they're 4-2. Lost to Hanks brings them to 4-3. Still in good position for the playoffs. 7 games in, halfway through the season. Then they dropped that game to Isleta by 4. Yes, 4. It's fine. Still 4-4. Pick up wins against Del Valle and Horizon. Now they're 6-4. 4 games left. Realistic. So I looked at all the schedules at the same time, and through 10 games of the season, through 10 games of the district season, the magic number for Parkland was 2 for well, not necessarily, but realistically, because Canutillo and Del Valle both had to play El Dorado or Bel Air. They both had to play El Dorado or Hanks, which is just they didn't really have a whole lot of success against them. So I kind of automatically kind of docked them for that. So after adjusting for all of that, Parkland's magic number was 2 for Canutillo and Del Valle. It was 1 for Isleta as far as knocking them out of the playoffs. Parkland goes 0-4 in their last 4 games. Unfortunately, they lost to. They almost picked up that game against El Dorado. It was their first game of this 4-game stretch. They lost only by 4. And they lost Canutillo by 2. And they had to play Bel Air and Hanks. Bel Air was playing some good basketball. That's why Parkland only had to win 1 of their last 4 games to clinch outright playoff spot. But unfortunately, Parkland had to play Bel Air and they lost, and then they had to play Hanks again, who's on at that time an 8-game winning streak, and just a really great late season run. And then they lost. So they lost to Hanks and Bel Air, concluding the season going 6-8. So then they had to play the play-in game against Isleta. Obviously, they lost by 2. They have 12 players up over the roster and 5 seniors. So Del Valle was so close to greatness, so close. They had some good wins. They beat Parkland by a lot. They beat Isleta pretty early on as well. They just had an unfortunate stretch. They had a 5-game stretch. Their last 5 games. One was against Horizon, whom they beat handedly. So of their other 4 games, they went 0-4, losing by 10 or less each time, including to El Dorado. 3 of those came in a 7-day span, losing by a combined 8 points. They lost by 4, 1, and 3. That includes the supposed double overtime thriller, where they lost to Isleta by 1. yeah, I mean, Del Val, they were so close to like doing so well. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They had seven of their 9 losses came by 10 or less points. Seven. One came by 12 and the other by 11 as well. So they had 9 losses, all of them by 12 or less points. This includes a 10-point loss to Canutillo, 5-point loss to Hanks, 9 to Bel Air, 12 to El Dorado, 11 to Parkland, 4 to Hanks again, 1 to Isleta, 3 to Bel Air, and then 10 to El Dorado. It was just they were so close. They have 13 players uploaded roster and 3 seniors, so going to be pretty good next year, maybe. All right, final predictions time. I have Hanks at 10-0, Bel Air at 6-4, Parkland at 5-5, Del Val at 4-6, Isleta at 4-6, and Horizon at 0-10. This is going to get really weird. So I have Hanks, obviously going undefeated. Bel Air split with Parkland. Parkland splits with Bel Air, but it gets swept by Del Val. Del Val gets swept by Isleta. Isleta gets swept by Parkland. Maybe it doesn't go exactly like that, but I just think it's going to be so super weird. Like that, all these teams are so close in comparison. I wouldn't be surprised if the 12 games played between Bel Air, Parkland, Del Val, and Isleta are decided by combined like 70 to 75 points, which is not a lot. That's like 6 points a game. Like I would not be surprised if like all of those games are decided by 10 or less points. It's going to be so close, which is going to be exciting to see. For that next year. And that's all I have for District 2 5A. Tomorrow we cover District 3, which may or may not include Amarillo. It's gonna be a video. You really want to watch that video. We're gonna take kind of a dive into Amarillo's path to greatness, at least the 2022 version of that. Also some other good teams. We will also examine Plainview's potential success in the absence of Randall, as well as the unfortunate reality for whoever gets 3rd or 4th in that district. Make sure you watch that video tomorrow, and as always, until next time, thanks for watching.